Hey guys, welcome back to another action figure review. Today we have a new toy company to try out, Exssrion Studios. We're taking a look at the trainee witch Hoshikawa Neco. Both the red and black versions are up for review today, with the black style being the deluxe version and taking priority for this review. The box is wonderfully detailed in a playing card style, with the artwork of Hoshikawa being mirrored upside down and A symbols in each corner. Similar to the black box art, we have the same image for the red version, with the red colors replacing the black. The back of the box has a nice mirrored silhouette of two cats in black and white, with the caution text at the top, figure details at the bottom, and more QR codes to social media and WeChat. One last silhouette of the cat ears are on the side of the box, with the more faded out stars dotting all over. Unlike most import figures that are wrapped in tissue, this box was shrink wrapped. You will need to destroy the plastic to get the figure out of the box. Removing the plastic tray from the bottom of the box allows you to slide out the massive tray in one pull. The trays are secured down with a simple strip of tape. Then we can start taking apart each tray. Like most import figures, this figure is also wrapped in plastic to prevent paint rubbing during shipment. The large joints on the body also have their own small sheets of plastic that need to be torn off. Exssrion Studios has only released a few figures so far, with Hoshikawa Neco being the, I believe, fourth unique figure released and first of this year. There are two versions of this figure, a black deluxe version and a red standard version with much less accessories. Both of the figures are identical in sculpt with only a slight paint differences on the body and hair. Continuing its theme of witches and magic, Hoshikawa Neco originally released as a small cat accessory figure with their past figure Hoshikawa Nana. She's all grown up now in her adult cat form. The deluxe version comes with more witch related accessories like a pointed witch hat and more wands and effects and wings for the figure. While the red version is more skimpy in its clothing with only basic accessories like the stand and face and hand parts. Let's check out the details on these figures. The short hair of the figure fades from a black to a bluish white towards the edges of the strands of hair. A small part in the hair shows off the forehead, and the default face expression is a winking face with pink colored eyes and small hearts under the eyelashes. A small row of lines on the cheeks representing a blush. A small anime style bump represents the nose of the figure, with its mouth wide open showing the teeth with one small fang. On top we can see the short pigtails and black cat ears on top with the white fur on the inside. Over at the side we can see how the gradient of black to bluish gray ends at the back of the head, with one long strand of hair on the side and the lightly painted edges of the short pigtails. We can also notice that the character has human ears as well as cat ears. The hair is tightly woven into each other on the back, where we can see the sculpting in the fur around the back of the ears, and more of the pigtails wild hair sculpting. Looking at the alternate red version, we can see a lot of similar details that we saw on the black version, only with the red color change. The facial expression on the red version is a default calm smile, with wide open pink eyes. We have the same strands of hair, hearts on the eyes, blush, and cat ears all painted pink instead of black. More similar details on the side of the head, only painted red, with the fluffy part of the cat ears also painted white. And on the back of the head, the cat ears are still black, only they fade into red instead of all that black like in the deluxe version. The chest brings out the lewdness of the figure, wearing almost a reverse bunny suit style, where the arms and legs are covered and the body exposed. A small sling-style bra tries to contain the large breast of the figure, sculpted with the detail of the skin being tightly grabbed by the leathery bikini. A small black that fades to blue collar is worn, as well as silver rings resting on the chest that secures the bikini to the body. There's not much detail here on the back, as it's just the exposed skin, but the leather of the shoulder starts with a row of red sharp edges that wrap around the inside of the body. The bikini strap that wraps around the body also has a small section of those red edges. Small thin shoulders are sculpted in leathery sleeves in a dark blue. Large wrinkles are added to the sculpt, giving it a loose appearance, with the silver band wrapped around the bicep to keep them in place. The arms end in large baggy sleeves, sculpted with a large opening in the cuffs, where the fabric opens up from all sides like a flower. Small details like another silver band and a small red button details the area. The pre-installed hands are in an open palm position, where each nail is sculpted on these very tiny fingers. The front of the waist on the black version offers a covered up version, where her leggings end up all the way to her stomach in a V shape. It has the design of a bikini style thong and more silver rings like the chest, but with the dark leggings that cover up the skin. Details on the body are just a faint groove in the sculpt to represent the navel of the stomach. While over on the red version, the leggings are removed from the thighs and waist of the figure, exposing the skin on this body. The bikini style underwear is much more revealing with this change, where we can notice how tightly the string pulls on the body, leaving small indents in the skin. Looking at the back of the waist in the deluxe version, we can see a large peg hole with the tattoo on the back. This will be used many times for different accessories later on in the review. We continue down to the back side, where a similar result can be seen on the back. Like the front, the butt is covered with that dark fabric, and the bikini style underwear on top. The red version also has this same tattoo and socket on the back, with no change. But like the front, the leggings are removed to display the skin underneath. Just like the front, the underwear covers very little on the backside, with the black straps hugging the skin tightly. Both of the thighs are the same color on each version, where we can continue to have those dark leggings, small silver and red buttons on the front, with the large cloth wrapping around the thighs of the figure. A crown of silver and black diamonds wrap around the upper thighs and act as a clever way to hide the articulation here. But we will notice a bit of sloppy paint here, a few scuffs of paint that even while being wrapped up in plastic still didn't get protected. Moving on down, we have the legs. Tight leathery boots that completely cover up the legs, with only a few wrinkles in the sculpt to give it that leathery look. And we wrap up the details of the figure with the heels. We have black leathery heels with a bright red colored sole, and a silver plate at the back. These tiny feet and heels make it hard for the figure to pose without its stand. Let's take a look at the articulation. Starting off with the head, we have a ball joint at the neck that allows us to rotate, bob left and right, and look up and down. Do be mindful of this hairpiece as it hangs down low. It doesn't restrict any range, but just be careful not to slam it onto the body, and be mindful when rotating it around the shoulder. We have a shoulder joint that opens up and fully rotates all the way around without blocking the head, with a slight butterfly joint here for that tiny bit of extra range. A bicep that rotates, double jointed elbows that have decent range but will be stopped by the sculpt. Even though it has a small groove for more range, this is the maximum. A collar at the wrist that rotates, as well as the hand that rotates and bends up and down depending on the orientation of the joint. The torso articulates, but she can't lean forward thanks to the large bust, or back because it's a very tight fit. We also have minor rotation because again it's a very tight sculpt that blocks most of the range. We have no articulation at the waist here, but for the legs they can be pulled down and pushed back in. This allows more range on the leg articulation, pushing forward and even back with its small butt plate blocking the maximum range. After you finish articulating the legs, you can then push it back in to avoid having a gap. We have rotation at the thighs, and just like snail shell figures, the thighs can be easily popped out. We do have double jointed knees, but they are heavily restricted by that cloth sculpt tied around here. You can finesse the double joint to get a good bend here, but we aren't getting past anything 90 degrees. Design over function was prioritized here. The ankles rotate and bend up and down, with a foot that twists, and a toe that bends upward with very little range. Hoshikawa Neco comes in two versions, a black deluxe and a regular red version. Both are listed in the 1/12 scale and stand around 15 centimeters or just slightly above 6 inches. Once again, we can see that the only small differences between the two, like the red hair and the bare skin of the thighs. Next to a Figma darkness, we know that Figma are on the smaller side of figures, and side by side we can see about half a head's worth of height difference. The body proportions aren't too different compared next to each other and could display fine in a collection. Snail Shell has a few figures in this size, with Milk Tea Girl being on the shorter side. Even with this difference, the body sizes aren't too bad, it just makes Hoshikawa Neco look taller. Thanks to those high heels, Annalise evens up the height, making both of the figures look much more even in height and size. I would say Snail Shell fits in perfectly. Jada Toys has their own figures in the 1/12 scale, and while they are more accurate to the character's size and height, having small figures like Cammy and Ryu look small in comparison. While waiting for Storm Arena to release more figures, their can is a great example of what to expect on upcoming figures. Similar to Jada, they have a wide range of heights. Hasbro will have most of their figures just around 6 inches across many toy lines. We can expect most domestic figures to share this height and size. Mythic Legions have some great undead and fantasy figures that will fit right in with Hoshikawa. Mythic Legions are also in the 1/12 scale, but usually on the larger side thanks to its bulky sculpts and large armor. This fits in perfectly fine, making Hoshikawa look smaller. We have a few deluxe faceplates, starting off with the angry pouting face in an anime style vein on her forehead with no area for adjustments on the back. A face with its tongue sticking out and spiral eyes, making a crazy expression. The back does have a section for the eye adjustments. And a default neutral smiling expression with no eye adjustments on the back. For the red version faceplates, we have a smiling angry expression with an anime style vein on the forehead, a crying face exclusive to the red version, and a wondrous looking surprised face with her mouth open, and no adjustments for the eyes. The eyes on certain faceplates can be changed and must match the letter they come with. The Black Deluxe version has 1 eye slots for the winking face and a pair of star eyes, while the red version has its own eye plates looking left, right, and heart eyes. They can be mixed with the black version as long as they match the correct letter. These eye plates can be found in the spare joints bag that holds multiple spare joints taped to the back of the tray. Swapping out the eyes is actually pretty simple. You remove the white tab attached to the faces to have them installed. Once removed, it is scary looking, but we can see the letter on the plate that we will match that same letter onto the eye plates. We can then slide in a new eye plate and change the look of the eyes. It's very unique and simple. I like it. After finishing with the eyes, swapping faceplates is similar to all other import figures. We remove the front hairpiece, usually taking the face along with it. Then we plug in the new face, with the hair on top of it to secure the new look. And while we're here, we'll take a look at the additional neck peg that comes with the figure, that the instructions labeled it as looking up neck. You can slide off the original neck, then pop off the peg on the original head. Sliding in the new neck clearly shows it looking upward, good for flying poses. You would then pop off the joint on the original head and attach it onto the new joint here, but I probably won't be using this neck. The last head accessory is the large black witch hat exclusive to the black version. It's made of a hard plastic and finely detailed in red and silver trimming. With the highlight of blue, it has an opening for a single ear. In order for the hat to fit in, you must remove the left pigtail. Mine was stuck on pretty tightly and required a hot water bath to get out. Once loose, you can then remove it from the head. Now you can finesse the hat into the head by gently pushing it into the sculpt. Once secured into the head, it shouldn't fall off on its own, but there's no click or indicator that it is on properly. Included in both versions is an articulated black cattail with a red heart at the tip. It has 3 points of articulation, allowing rotation and bending that plugs into the back of the figure. Exclusive to the black version is the dress and bow accessory. It's a large red bow and the black and blue dress that's underneath. It has 2 large black joints that these will be used for the wings, and a large socket either for the stand or the tail, because the body socket will be used up by this accessory. The tattooed socket in the back fits the bow perfectly and uses up this slot. Even the additional socket it provides completely matches the tattoos. It's a nice small detail. Normally, you would then attach the cattail here or the stand. Exclusive to the deluxe version are the wings. Black wings with a transparent effect underneath it and a metallic red spike at the top. We can see the 2 sockets at the ends that connect onto the bow. These wings will easily attach into those 2 spare joints at the back of the bow. You can then adjust them forward and back and slide them up and down. Another item exclusive to the black version is the broom that comes in extremely sticky packaging. I'm noting this in the review because I've never seen an accessory wrapped in tape before. The broom is finely detailed and has some great paint and sculpting and comes apart for customization. A exclusive bat-shaped black wand for the black version, featuring a red cat head detail at the center. Another exclusive accessory is the magic lantern. It's made of a clear purple plastic with a silver chain to hang with, and it opens up, revealing a small flame inside. And the last of the exclusive accessories being a wooden staff. It has a spiral topper and a black thin handle that can be removed. Both sets have small red star wands with a tiny black heart at the bottom. And both versions comes with the same set of hands, starting with the heart-shaped gesture hand, a grabbing hand for staffs, a grabbing hand for smaller wands, hands in an open palmed grasping pose, and a set of hands in a relaxed open palm pose. We come with a clear base with multiple inserts. Now this wasn't really explained in the instructions, but we do have multiple extending parts. This peg with the wide bottom inserts into the base. Then we have an extender peg with an opening, and the final extender that has a square head that we need to attach to other heads to. When installing them all together, we will notice that it might be too long without a joint here. What's not explained is that you can remove the square top. Now we can attach it to the extender rod, and now we have a more practical arm without the extra length. The base comes with many head attachments. We have the classic gripping arm that requires an adapter, a head allowing pass-throughs, a head that attaches to the broom once you remove the jewel to expose the socket. This piece wasn't explained and I don't know what it is. And a piece that directly attaches to the back of the figure. Lastly, we have a signed illustration card in what appears to be a blonde angel version. It could be a hint towards the next figure with another autograph at the back. Exssrion is a new figure company for me. I like to keep an eye out on import toy news, especially from new figure companies from China. A ton of companies have popped up over the last year and they are truly untested. You really don't know what you're getting, and into some cases, you have to pre-order it or just completely miss out on the figure. I'm glad that my experience with Exssrion has been great with these two figures. Sure, I have a few minor issues with the figure, mostly the chip paint on the thighs, some of the articulation is weak like the torso and knees, and the instructions don't completely cover everything, but setting that aside, I really do feel like these are quality figures. Besides the figures being pretty, one of the biggest reasons I checked this figure out was simply the price was so good, I ended up getting both versions. They've also had some previous releases that went pretty well, so I had a bit of confidence with this figure and brand. Most importantly these days is the feel and quality of the plastic. Even though the joints were small, none of them felt fragile. The figure does have a few sharp points that are really small, but I never got the feeling of a cheap figure. While the standard version has its own charms, the deluxe version really makes the figure stand out with all of those great accessories. The first thing I noticed when I unboxed the figure was the sheer amount of accessories. I immediately knew, oh, this is going to be a figure that you pose once and display. And that did come out to be true, at least for me. That might not be the issue with most people, but for me, I personally enjoy a good desktop figure that I can fidget with over and over. The way you change the eyes is completely fine with me. We're entering an era where everyone has adjustable eyes, and while I do appreciate that technology, swapping out the simple eye plates works completely fine, and you don't even notice any gaps in the photos, so it works out great. Removing the pigtails is probably the most scariest part of adjustment you can make with this figure. It's all hard plastic, it required a hot water bath to remove, and I can only assume over time that part will get weaker, making it more stressful just to put on a hat. Small growing pains is what stops me from calling this a perfect figure, but if they learn to change issues like that, Exssrion is well on its way to becoming one of the greats. A lot of these import companies have some great artists and modelers that produce some great looking figures. You really don't need to look very far to find a unique, cool looking figure. The problem is finding a quality, reputable figure company that's not going to rug pull you. I've been burned by a few in the past, and there's some scary stuff going on in the import toy community right now. So hopefully I can reassure you that these figures from Exssrion aren't bad at all, especially for the price. If you had to choose between the two, the deluxe version is definitely worth it. But with each figure having its own unique faceplates, it's worth getting both. I'm glad that the alternate color isn't just a color change either. They're both unique enough from each other even with the same body. I would have preferred a different bust size between them, but other than that I'm completely satisfied. Exssrion is a new company I'll keep my eye on. So far, it's been fantasy witch figures, but maybe they'll branch out into other genres. If you guys pick up this figure, let me know what you guys think. Did I get lucky and get a good figure, or is everyone else's experience similar to mine? If you missed out on the pre-order, you can still find her in stock as of this review at a pre-order prices. She's definitely worth picking up. Alright guys, that's it for this review. Leave me a comment letting me know how you like this figure, subscribe, or share this video with your friends to help out the channel.